Welcome! In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this MIOISY Rechargeable LED headlamp. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So let's get this open. Here we have a user manual. So you'll want to read through this. I'm not going to cover everything. Here's a product diagram. So on the top we have buttons for the sensor mode switch and the basic mode switch. This has a white LED, red white LED, sensor receiver, XPG LED, sensor receiver, red white LED, and white LED. This lists the product features. This has high efficiency LEDs, has lots of lighting modes, we'll go over those. It's IPX4 water resistant, it's recharged with USB, has a red tail light. This talks about the different modes. So here are the 12 lighting modes. We have the 8 core modes, the 4 sensor modes. We have strong spotlight, weak spotlight, strong floodlight, weak wide light, strong all light, red light strobe, SOS distress signal. Then for sensor modes, we have sensor spotlight, strong wide light, sensor all, and sensor red. So this can tilt down 60 degrees, and it charges with USB, has a charge indicator for 25, 50, 75, and 100%. Charge time is 3 to 4 hours. So here's the charge cable. This charges with micro USB to USB-A cable. And here's the headlamp itself. So this tilts down. We have an elastic strap here. This has elastic that fits against your forehead. I've had headlamps that have foam here, but the foam ends up just breaking down. It's hard to clean. I prefer just having a strap here. I find it plenty comfortable. Here's the back where we have the tail light, or the button for the tail light. Here's the charge port opening. So let's just try turning this on. Okay. So if we press a button, it will turn on. And each time we press it, it cycles through the modes. Now for a couple modes in and we want to shut this off, we can hold down the button and it will shut off without having to cycle through all of the modes. So those are the regular modes. These are the sensor modes. So I'll press this button and it turns the light on, and if I wave my hand in front of it, it will turn it off and then turn it back on again. So say you're working on a project with someone and you have your headlight on for extra light. You can have the headlight on when you're looking down at your project, and then if you turn to talk to the person, you can wave your hand in front of your face, turn the light off, and you're not going to blind them. It's a really nice feature. So I'll shut the lights off and we'll demonstrate the modes up close, and then I'll take it outside and test this at a longer distance. Okay, so I'm about 4 foot away from the wall, and after this I'll go outside and we'll take a look at the light from around 50 feet. So I'll turn this on. So here's the spotlight on high. So you can see we have a nice bright spot in the middle. There's a little bit of light outside of the middle, and it does have some rings in it. So this is the light you'd use to throw the light a distance. So if you're looking for something in the woods, you could use the spotlight mode and you'll be able to see things well out in front of you. We'll hit it again, and this is the spotlight low. So if you don't need as much light, you can turn it on this mode. Now this is the floodlight. Now this is going to be a more even light. There's a little bit of a spot effect in the middle, but it lights up a much wider area. So I'm tilting this, you can see how wide it is. Now this would be good for close-up work or more detailed work. So maybe you're cooking dinner at a campsite, this would be the better option to use. Then we have the floodlight low. And floodlight low may actually be better for doing something like cooking. You may not need as bright of a light, so this would fulfill that need. Now when I hit it again, this is going to be the combination of the two. So you have that spotlight and the flood. So this could be good for hiking down a trail. You have the flood illuminating closer up in front of you, and then you have that spotlight. So if you hear something off to the side, you turn your head, that spotlight will illuminate it. When you turn your head back towards the trail, you have the floodlight. Now we're getting into the red modes. So red light can be good at night. It'll help your night vision. The white light can blow out your night vision. This can help you retain it. So when I hit it again, we have a flashing mode. And this is an SOS mode. So if you have an emergency situation, you could turn that on to help attract attention. So here we have the sensor modes. So this is the spotlight, the floodlight, both, and the red light. Now let's look at the tail light. So I'm going to point at it. Usually you don't illuminate something with it, but this is just on. We press it again, we have that high-speed flicker. So that can be really visible from a distance, even though it's a tiny light. Next, let's show this on my head. Okay, so here we have the headlamp. I'll put this on my head. Like so. Now if it's too tight or loose, you can adjust it here. To adjust it, hold on to this black part and pull on it, To adjust it the other way, we'll hold on to this part of the strap and pull here. And then once you have it adjusted, you can feed the strap through here to center it. So I'll pull this through just a little bit. That looks good. And you can also adjust this top strap too. So here I have it on, centered. Now you may have a certain tightness you like. After wearing it a while, you may determine that you want it tighter or looser. So now here I can tilt this down, like so. So if I were cooking a camp dinner, I could point this down at the table. If I'm hiking, I might point it out a little bit in front of me. And if I'm searching for something in the woods, I could have it maybe straight out. Let's show that sensor mode while it's on my head. So here's the light on. I can wave my hand over it, it turns off. Again, it turns back on. Now when I press this again, it's going to switch to the next mode, but I can hold it down to turn it off. Okay, so I'm at the end of my 50-foot driveway, and it's actually morning. It's still relatively dark out, but we should see the light that this casts nonetheless. So I'll turn this on. So this is the spotlight in the high mode. You can see it against the drive and the doors. Here's the low mode. Now this is the flood. So this is going to be more noticeable up front. So this is not projecting light as far. So this would be good for up close work. And this is the low on the flood. Let's point this down. And these are both lights. So this has the spot and the flood. So this is giving you the spot in the middle and the flood around it. Next we have the red. This is good for protecting your night vision. Then of course we have the strobe modes. Here I've put the tail light on the strobe mode, and even though it's tiny, it's very visible. So if you're walking down a dark street and had this on your head, I think you'd be much more visible than if you didn't have it. So let's show charging this. So the battery is in the back. I'll pull this open. I'll plug the USB cable into it. There we go. So now you can see it's charging. The lights are lighting up, and we're currently charging at 0.38 amps. So the charge rate can vary depending on the state of the charge of the battery. Since this charges with USB, you can charge it using a phone charger, a wall outlet with USB, car charger, or you could use a portable power bank. So if you're camping and you need to recharge this, you can plug this into a similar power bank you'd use to charge your phone. So I'm going to let this charge up, and then I'm going to do a couple of runtime tests with it. Okay, so I did a couple of runtime tests. I didn't test every single mode, but I tested the spotlight on high, and I got 9 hours 35 minutes. Then I tested the floodlight on high, and I got 9 hours and 46 minutes. Finally, I tested the spotlight on low, and I got 18 hours and 6 minutes. So being that the flood and spotlights each got around 9.5 hours on high, I'm guessing the floodlight on low would also get around 18 hours. So to sum it up, we got around 9 hours on high and 18 hours on low. So that's a very good runtime. So if you were to take this on a weekend camping trip, if you're not using it every hour of the evening, this should easily be able to last through the weekend. So that's the MIOISY Rechargeable LED headlamp. I really like how it has the different modes on here, so you can project the light out, you can have the light up close and even, and it has that red light mode. So if you've been in the dark a while and you want to maintain your good night vision, you can turn on that red light mode and it won't blow out your vision. Now what I would do is memorize how many clicks it takes to get there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can hit this 6 times and it'll take you right to that red mode. Of course, this also has the angle on it and it has that elastic strap, so it's very comfortable to wear on the head. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.